Jason is on the phone. Hello.
How are we doing? You all right?
We're good, thank you. Go on, tell him how important it is to have coach subsidies.
Well, I think it helps out with everyone. I just thought that one way that would maybe help out is when the players, probably Danny would be more up with this, if they get the in-house fines for being late and stuff like that, whether or not they could use that money to subsidise the travel.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
the players are giving something back, aren't they? And if it, obviously, I think Danny touched upon the fact that different teams will have different budgets. So if they was to put it all into this pot that could be shared around, it would obviously fill the grounds, better atmosphere, keep on improving our Premier League, and make sure that we stay in front of the Saudi Arabians.
I think there's where there's a will, there's a way, and I think if the people in PR know what they're doing, they will find a way. And if that means going to the players, going to the manager, and saying, "Look, there's been a problem here. There's a situation here. Would the lads come together?" And with what they're earning, you've got to think, so this is peanuts.
I'm all for the players paying for it.
Yeah.
I thought you missed a minute ago. You said that the fans don't deserve any handouts.
No.
It could be fine. It could be done through fines.
For the players,
you'd have to have a lot of fines.
Where does that fine go?
The fines used to be the fines used to be
for the Christmas party.
For the Christmas party,
go for themselves.
Yeah. And then yeah, it did.
Right,
it did.
well, that could go back to the fans, couldn't it?
So
basically just raising money for us to get
so one or two people would basically.
Exactly,
and then it changed over time where the fines would be then divvied up between the staff.
Yeah.
So not the apprentices, they'd be the staff, like the masseurs and all the physios and stuff like that. So different clubs do different things, but you'd have to be fined some to get to 250 though, wouldn't you?
Christopher, only just 2 weeks' wages for one player.
Yeah.
No, but fine.
10 grand per season per first team player.
Boom.
Yeah.
Christopher's a Chelsea fan. Hello.
Hello.
Do you want to say anything about this subsidy being taken away?
It's not so much. Well, the subsidy I think is bad, but it's more a point that Chelsea PR is pretty awful all round, because what I wanted to just say is that I'm a senior citizen season ticket holder this year. Birthday was on the 5th of August. The season kicked on the 12th of August, and they refused to sell me a pensioner's ticket because they put a deadline on the 31st of July. So their PR needs serious improvement all round.
So hold on, you became a senior citizen on the 5th of August. The season started on the 12th, but because Chelsea's deadline was the 31st, you didn't qualify for a senior citizen's ticket.
And when I told them that, they said, we put a deadline on the 31st of July, there's nothing we can do for you.
Well, maybe that's an individual, somebody who's you've spoke to who's absolutely useless at the job rather than the whole department, because that sounds like such...
We'll try and get hold of Chelsea and find out exactly how that has happened. Terry is a Chelsea fan. Hello.
Yes, hello. Yeah, we spoke yesterday about the enigma that is Lukaku.
We did. What do you want to say about these coaches?
Yeah, I go on these coaches all the time. Yeah, I go on with my mum. She's a certain age. We sit together at away games. Got an away season ticket. I can't remember the word Simon used. I don't consider it a right. I feel very lucky that we get this. It's been for many, many years. When we were sanctioned, Chelsea weren't allowed to do it, so the prices went up to individual matches what they are, what they're going to be now. So we've been told for the Bournemouth game in a few weeks' time, Chelsea supporters group has subsidised it, so it's going to be a tenner. It would have been £29. So the next game, Burnley, October the 7th, what's that going to be, 50, 60 quid? I'll tell you what I like going on the coaches. I drive to Chelsea, I live in South London. They let me park in the car park underground for a £5. It's quite a sedate coach, it ain't Football Factory. You get up there, it's a couple of hours before the game, do what you want, come back. Trains, overpriced. Now, my friend looked at the cost of a train to Burnley, October the 7th, £100 return. Overpriced, unreliable. I like going away, I go. Sometimes I drive. I don't want to drive, but I drive all week. I do 1,000 miles a week. I'll tell you now, Simon, you and Jim get me through traffic. I don't want to be driving up to Manchester. I've already provisionally booked a Premier League in Altrincham for Man United away. It's midweek in December. It's £200 odd, but I don't want to be driving up to Old Trafford midweek and driving back in the middle of the night.
When you listen to Terry, and he's talking about the prices of stuff, especially trains, right? Because trains,
yes, of course.
I spend a lot of time up and down from Manchester on the trains, and they are incredibly unreliable, especially at this moment in time. I agree. So getting back after matches, that's going to be really difficult.
You need to understand my reaction to the framing and the characterisation of the subject matter. The way this is characterised is that it's outrageous for Chelsea to have taken away something that they gave in the first place.
Well, it is.
So my pushback was that the sense of entitlement. Terry's obviously qualifying it slightly more.
I don't think we said outrageous. Did we say outrageous?
You're not saying outrageous, but I'm reading the way that this is characterised because I know the Machiavellian mind of our twisted little producer who wants to create darkness and everything. The bottom line is that we're debating whether it was right for Chelsea to take away something that is not an entitlement. It was a gift on their behalf. I fully understand the value of fans, and away fans to me were the most valuable fans because they carry the banner when you're in moments of adversity, when you don't have the rest of the stadium to be supporting. I get it. But my pushback was not about the idea that Chelsea are fundamentally probably slightly flawed in giving something and taking something away that's so small in the first place. But if there was a sense of entitlement, and I have to say the reasons why is because the moment I hear supporters' trusts, it makes me bristle because I know what they're like. I know how they operate. I know how they think. And there's a sense of entitlement. Terry doesn't think that way. So I don't have an issue with Terry's point of view.
Terry wants to come back, but ultimately, you say it was so small, but to these people, to Terry, it's a big thing.
I say it's small on behalf of Chelsea.
Let's go for it, Terry.
Yeah, I don't see it as an entitlement, like Simon says. I feel it's quite lucky, quite a privilege. We've had this for a very long time, many years. My season ticket has stayed the same for 12 years. Hasn't gone up. Nor's my mum. She sits in the family. I mean, Matthew Arden up. She's in the family section. I understand they put it up maybe 20 quid. Score all round, 20, 25, £30 tops, and maybe half price for seniors and juniors. You know, I'm not expecting to stay tenner forever, but it's been nice while it's been happening. If it changes, I'll have to relook. I'm not paying £50, £60. I've got a coach to go to Burnley. That'd be 120 quid for two people.
So we may lose supporters going to games as a result of this.
I've got an away season ticket. I paid 30 quid. It's a good price, great price. I love it when it every 3 years. They extend it another 3 years. Brilliant. Certain grounds, I get the train. To Brighton, I'll drive, make a weekend of it, whatever. But £50, £60 for a coach. And so the way it works, we ring up a company called Sports Breaks. I ring them up. They're in Manchester. I call them up. All their details are on there. Bang. Oh, you know who I am. Terry this, Jesse. And then we book our coaches, and that's it. Lovely. I love the way it works. It's convenient. Straight outside the ground. You'd have an hour at Norton Keynes on the way up. Have your lunch. Very civilised. It's part of my match day experience.
Cheers, Terry. Thank you very much. Norton Keynes, good services.
No such thing.
Yes, there is.
There isn't.
Norton Keynes is okay. Rugby's the best.
They're all overpriced. Packed.
Not necessarily. It depends what time you travel. Let's go to Gaz, who's a Manchester United fan. Gaz, hello.
Hi, hello. How are we doing, boys?
Yeah, we're good, thanks, mate. What do you want to say?
I just want to say that, really, to be honest with you, I think that, like, when you travel home and away and stuff like that, and you get to a certain age, like my dad's 78 years old, my mum is 74 years old, and the amount of money that they've pumped into the clubs over the years has been ridiculous, going home and away. And I think by taking it away, I think it's wrong.
Yeah, we do.
Well, two of us do.
Well, two of us.
I just think it's wrong. I think that, like, there needs to be, like, at least something where you say, look, you know, you've supported us all your life. Rightly, you know, we're all rivals and all the rest of it, but you pumped a lot of money into our club and you bought the tops, you bought the shirts, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, they just, like, people like Chelsea, they just turn around and say, oh, by the way, we're not going to support you.
It does send a bad message, I think. It doesn't look great, and I think it does create a bit of ill will amongst the support.
Well,
and
there's probably some clubs who don't do it.
I do understand that. I do understand the reality of looking at what people have spent with you over a passage of time, but you didn't get nothing in return. You got what you paid for. So what you paid for was what you got. And if you bought a shirt, you got a return for that. If you bought tickets, you went and watched the game. In the same way, if you went to watch something else in life, you'd pay for it. I do think there should be concession prices. I do think there should be discounted prices for people of certain age groups. And I do actually believe that if football clubs were intelligent enough to be able to look at the lifetime value of a supporter and be able to give them reward points for how much they've spent with the club and how much they've supported, that these would be things that would build more loyalty, more spend patterns and more understanding. And certain clubs do it. Certain clubs do look at it. I remember introducing a digital scheme at Palace where we had digital cards and we could track what they spend, when they spent, and we could give them loyalty points and they could spend those points in Marks and Spencer's or Sainsbury's or whatever else. So there's much more that could be done. But I do think that there is a fundamental obligation to some extent for football fans to pay for what they want. They're the ones that tell you they want to see the best players, they want to see the best football, they want to see the best fare. That comes at a price.
Yeah,
And
they
if
pay
we're
for
all in it
season
together-
tickets, they pay for shirts, they pay for TV subscription as it is.
But these are choices. Now, if you pay for a season ticket...
Yeah, but without those choices, without them paying for those choices, then those players, those clubs would not be able to spend the money that they
And do you know
spend.
what would happen? Is if there wasn't... First and foremost, the broadcasters are driving predominantly the revenues, and then I'm behind that, of course, are the eyes on the prize, but the eyes on the prize in Malaysia and Indonesia and Australia aren't coming into Old Trafford or to Chelsea, and it's that revenue that's being driven into football that's actually increased the opportunity. But the bottom line is that the pricing policy of football clubs and the opportunities that fans want for their football clubs to be successful comes at a price. And the balance has to be struck.
It does, but in where we are right now is a difficult place for people, and to withdraw something they'd already given, and that's a separate argument why they gave it, but to withdraw it now does not look good when you've got a club that's just spent nearly £1 billion on players and 8-year contracts and wages through the roof for 250 grand. It does
and
not look
could subsidise the whole
does
thing
not
for
look
1 week
good.
of Romelu Lukaku's wages.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.